Hello and welcome to this week's Forex Outlook here at XM.com. I'm Andreas, your investment analyst, and I'm here with my colleague Rafi Boyajan. So Rafi, trade developments were once again dominating attention during this past week, creating volatility in equity markets, but also in currency markets. The US administration went ahead with the imposition of tariffs on steel and aluminum, though it exempted Canada and Mexico, and also left the door open for exempting other countries.
That's right. So yesterday, President Trump did go ahead and sign the proclamation of that 25% tariff on steel and 10% on aluminium. As you said, Canada and Mexico have been exempted from the time being, but that is sort of conditional on what progress is made on the NAFTA renegotiation talks. So possibly, if the talks were to fail, we could see that exemption being lifted. But markets were also somewhat pleased that the tariffs, other countries would be able to apply to the US for exemptions from those tariffs. In particular, Trump invited friends and allies of the US. So that, although it was overall received negatively, there was some relief that the tariffs weren't as broad-based as had been initially feared.
Yes, and this has boosted sentiment. And something else helping risk appetite today was the story of a possible meeting between US President Donald Trump and North Korea's Kim Jong-un. This eased geopolitical tensions and led to a sell-off in the safe haven perceived yen.
That's right. So yen is sharply down this morning, along with the Swiss franc and gold. This is actually the most significant developments we've seen with regards to North Korea. US President Trump and Kim Jong-un are likely to meet before or by May. That's being reported. We don't really know the details, but this does suggest that we're unlikely to see an escalation in tensions for at least the next 6 months or so. So that's obviously that's had a major impact on boosting risk appetite.
Yes, another currency that came under pressure recently is the euro. Specifically yesterday, it recorded declines. Yesterday, the ECB completed its two-day meeting on monetary policy. It removed its pledge to increase asset purchases if needed. This initially helped the currency, though later on, the central bank's chief, Mario Draghi, played down on the significance of the decision. That led to a sell-off in the euro. And he also added that inflation remains subdued. Specifically, he said that inflation cannot be declared. Victory on inflation cannot yet be declared. And with that, Rafi, unless you have something to add, I'd like you to share with us what's on the agenda for next week.
Well, next week is going to be fairly quiet. We don't have too much major data. The main focus will be on US inflation and retail sales. So given everything, all the talk about rising inflation in the US, so that's going to be very important, how the CPI numbers come in, as well as retail sales, which is a good indication of consumer spending. The other main data will be New Zealand GDP numbers for the fourth quarter. We're seeing the Kiwi fairly resilient against the market turbulence we've seen over the past months or so. So if we do get a strong reading on New Zealand GDP, that could be positive for the Kiwi. We also have a Swiss National Bank central monetary policy meeting next week as well, although we're not expecting any changes from the SNB. We've seen the Swiss franc depreciating against the euro, and although the SNB chairman is still considers the Swiss franc to be overvalued, it's unlikely. So that suggests that the bank has no intention of starting to raise its interest rates from negative to positive territory in the near future.
Interesting. And I should also say, Rafi, that later on Friday, the non-farm payrolls report is due out of the US. It is eagerly awaited, specifically the reading on wage growth, which is expected to dictate positioning on the dollar, at least in the short term. And with that, I should also say that the dollar index is up on the week so far, though not to a significant extent.
That's right. So the dollar has had slightly better week this week, but the NFP will be watched very closely. Okay, Andreas, thank you very much for your analysis today. Thank you everyone for watching and have a great day.